Hello everyone, it's Marie from Skeletorama again. Welcome back to my channel. So this is episode 6. So in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to work on some wallpaper. It's lots of wallpaper, really. We're going to do the tower windows, part of it anyway, the front part of it. And we are going to work on getting our wallpaper attached for the rest of the hallway so that we can start on our trim and getting our wall in place and all that good stuff. So hope you enjoy. All right, so we are back out here with questionable lighting. Hopefully that might help a little bit until I trip over it. Okay, so we're going to test our stuff that we cut. So I just got to remember what's what now. Uh-oh, there we go. Jesus. All right, so this is the piece that's going to go here. So what we're going to do is we're going to line our window up, because that's what's going to tell us how close we are, right? That's pretty close. So I say we leave that. Let me get this stuff out of the way here. Because of course I put everything on top of the wall that I need. Okay, so now I'm going to put my wall in place here. I'm going to look on this side over here, and I'm not seeing any of that paper coming through. Okay, so that paper should be just fine for right there. So yay, I love when that happens. That hardly ever happens. Okay, seriously, wall, work with me. All right, so we have that piece, and then of course we have our top triangle piece up here, and that looks like it's going to fit just fine also. So imagine we'll put the triangle piece in first, and then this. And then once we put the window in here, that cleans up any weird edges, right? I mean, we could probably take just a hair off of this left side, but it's a slippery slope when you start doing that. All right, so now we have these ones as well we want to test. Okay, so we're going to bring this up, hold this next to our wall. Of course, it's fine. But what we really wanted to see was this piece here. Okay, and it meets up just fine. So I can maybe hold this up here. Let me come around this way. All right, so if I hold it like this, yeah, it's not gonna work too good. Nope. Where did it go? Where'd you go? Sorry, I know I'm right smack in the middle of the way, so apologies for that. But I need to line this other piece up. Okay, there we go. Line it up and hold it here this time. And yeah, I have a feeling this isn't going to work very well until it's out. I was like, well, no, it didn't do too bad. Let's make that a little darker. Okay, so I kind of know where that door is going to be, so I can maybe cut the door out. We'll see. It may just be smarter to glue it down, and then once the glue's dry, come in with a X-Acto knife and cut it out. All right, and then the last piece we have is our purple piece. And we're going to hold this up to here and make sure it fits, and it does. And this one, I'm going to go ahead and see how it's just a little bit short. If I put it down here, well, not really. Yeah, I'll just kind of scoot it over and maybe take a little bit off of this edge. Again, I can do that once it's in because I've got the wall, and I can just take my X-Acto blade down that wall and get a nice clean finish on that. This is what I was talking about here. So if you can see these here, so I was debating on making these the same stain color, but then I think it's going to make this whole area a little large. Let's grab one of our interior windows. It'll be the shorty one. It is these ones. So we put this in here. See how that's going to sit in there? And then hopefully you can see, I can sort of see, this one's going to sit in here like so. I'm thinking of just doing the wallpaper just underneath the windows and going straight across these right here. Okay, which means we've got templates for a bunch of these. We're probably just going to have to, oh, we can take the templates we have for this and extend them up. That'll probably work best. Okay, because some of this stuff would be best to do, see how I'm reaching in here like this? Once I put this wall in here, I'm going to have a heck of a time getting into here. I can still access it from the front, which is how we're going to do these walls up here, but I want to give myself a little more of an advantage than that. And then when we come to this knee wall here, in this part of the ceiling, I don't think I'm going to paper that. I think that would look weird, especially if I just papered it up part of the way, you know, to denote ceiling. I don't think it would look right. So I'm going to leave this white. So I'm probably going to go ahead and paint this knee wall here white as well, because the flooring is not going to come up and over it. And I don't think a baseboard is going to work there. So it's probably what we're going to do with that. Okay, cool. So I'm going to put these windows away, and let's go back to the desk and deal with the wallpaper stuff we're going to need for this area here. I'm just going to do the stuff on the bottom. We'll worry about the tower stuff in a different step, because we can definitely get that from the front. But this stuff here will be easiest to get from here. All right, see y'all in a second. So what I've done is I have went and got the templates that we made previously. So the ones that were on those pieces that were divided, you know, where it had the top and the bottom one that were the same size, it's going to be part of those, okay? So what I've done is I took these out there and I double checked. And then on the left side of the wall, kind of like where we have this, and then this comes around, there is a piece here that will need to be covered, and it goes all the way up, okay? So what I did was I took this piece and I folded it around to see how big that was. So this is about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7/16, because it's right between 3/8 and 1/2 inch. So we need to include that strip just to save ourselves the pain. Or we can also do it when we do the front part, but I think I'd rather go ahead and do it with this part. So we're gonna have to take that into account, okay? So I also measured how long it is from the floor to the bottom of the window sill. We're not gonna factor in the window itself because it will go over it, right? So it's 3 3/4 inches of space that we need to do. The nice thing is this goes from edge to edge, so that corner piece that was on here, we don't have to calculate how thick that was because it sits on top of this piece. Thank you, Jesus, because yeah, I didn't want to deal with that. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need a piece of paper that's going to be enough to accommodate this one, and one more over here with a big strip that goes on top. Plus, we can go ahead and cut the ones for on the top, because on the top there's window stuff too. It's not as essential right now, mainly because we've got, we're not going to put the windows in until we're done with that back part of the paper in the tower, because we need to be able to get to it, right? So it's not as essential right now, but we'll go ahead and do this part of it because we do want to get this part in. I'm going to bring my paper back out here. Okay, remembering that this was going up and down. Is there going to be enough this way? There's not. So I'm going to grab another piece of paper for it. Okay, so we'll start on the bottom. We'll start over here. Okay, so we've got this piece here, this piece here, this piece here. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a little line here. I'm going to bring this and flip this over, line that up with that, and that's going to be the extra little piece that we need. It's going to be right along there. So this line here. So yeah, we're going to need to go ahead and cut this to 9 3/4 tall. In theory, this will work. It might work, it might not. Worst case scenario, graphic 45 will make another, you know, 15 bucks off me, whatever. Okay, so 9 3/4 inches. We're going to go ahead and do that. Cut this way. And then we are going to cut off where we left it right here. Make sure that's nice and straight. I never believe that these things are straight. See, I'll line it up with this. And if you have one of these paper trimmers, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, is this straight? I don't think this is straight. go in just a little bit. Okay, that's as straight as I'm getting it. There we go. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to close that. We're gonna do some pencil marks on here, but it's okay. So I've got my Tim Holtz ruler that I can see through, which makes it much easier to get a straight line. So there's my straight line. God knows. It was until I moved it. All right, we'll go ahead and do this about down to there. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my ruler and I'm gonna measure up 3 3/4. I'm gonna use this line to line it up with the bottom. I do a line there. I'll do it again down here. It's always best to have like 3 points of reference when you're doing a line like that. Just in case you mess one of them up, it'll become really obvious. Okay, so now I'm gonna line up these lines here. And I'm gonna go right there, boom. Okay, so now I know that I wanna cut right there and right there. The beauty of it is we know this right here are these things, right? So we can cut another set of them here for that top piece if we want to, which I probably will do. All right, so I'm going to do same like I did with the door and stuff. I'm going to use my paper trimmer. I'll line this up. This is another way to make sure that your line was straight. And I'm going to go ahead and cut most of the way. Okay, exercise caution when you do it this way. Okay, I'm going to move this up to the top there. So I don't do, you know, the genius thing, which is cut this whole strip off, which, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world, right? I could still save it. Okay, see how off that is? That's not even close. Okay, there we go. All right, and then I'm going to bring this down almost to it, and then we'll finish it off with the X-Acto knife. And with that, I like to start in the corner and go out because I'm not going to overshoot it that way. I mean, I still could, anything's possible with me, but I may get it slightly crooked right there, but nobody saw that, did they? Okay, so we are going to erase our pencil line, even though most of that would be covered by window. We still don't want to have it there. Okay, same here. And then we'll take this out and fit it. But we'll set this to the right. Right here where I didn't mess that up, we can always take this, and how wide is this? This is 1.5 inches wide. So I'm just going to take my paper trimmer, and 1.5 is right here on that line. Oh, I hate when I do that. Okay, so I'm going to line it up nice and straight. I'm going to go ahead and go across that too. Okay, because that is these guys. So that will fit that top part of the window, so we can knock it out at the same time. Okay, so we've got this. We've got this. What else did we need? I don't even know. I think that's it. So we should go out there and start sticking some paper down. I'm gonna see if I've got a new bottle of Fabrifix. I'm pretty sure I do. We'll take that out there and start messing about with some of that. Oh, I'm gonna bring my X-Acto knife too. All right, so I'm back out here and I have the paper, and you'll notice it's already kind of bent. That's because I went ahead and dry fit it to double check the fit. And I'm glad I did, because of course there were parts that didn't quite fit as much. So this is up at the top. I won't do that with it turned this way because that wouldn't make any sense. I'll put this on, just trust me in that it fits now. I ended up having to take just a little bit off of this right end here. And then I fit this in, and what I realized when I fit this in is this doesn't go up the whole way because some of that is this, okay? And there's like a gap where the roof meets and stuff where we don't need the paper for it. So I went ahead and brought that down. And then this right side here as well lost, I want to say about 3/8 of an inch. Because of the way it's meeting everything here, the corner of this roof and this knee wall here, it has to kind of clear that. So it's not going over as far because these are sticking out. So now I'm going to put this in here. Get it around this way. Now it all lays flat. Is there a little bit of extra room where it needs stuff? Yes, but I can build that into the stuff here because I'll be able to see it much better there. You know, we'll be missing just a tiny little corner of stuff here, but this is going to get baseboard, so we can fill that in when we put the baseboard in as well. So this should be pretty good. Let's go grab a window. Put my window in here. There you go. And as you can see, it's going to cover that up. You're still going to see a little bit of it up top here. So we should probably hit the edge of that. I'm going to go ahead and hit the edge of this piece and this piece with some distress ink, probably in Vintage Photo, just so it's not the white edge, because if we put black, it's going to stand out too much. Okay, so we're good with that. This away. So not sure how well you can see, I just hit the edge of this one and the bottom edge of this one where it's going to connect with the windows with the archival ink and Vintage Photo, just so it's not as stark white as it was. We can do that too once it's in and dry and everything. Okay, so I think we will go ahead and put this one in first. I do have a brand new thing of Fabrifix, which is of course what I'm going to use for this. I'm going to try to be as careful as I can when I put it in. Again, I'm going close to the edge, but not exactly, just to minimize the amount of seepage that I will end up with once I put it in. A little bit more there. Okay. It's going to go in one fell swoop. If you want, you can cut these into their individual squares and put them in. If it's easier for you, it may be. I generally don't do things the easy way, I guess. We knew that. All right. So I'm going to be right smack in your way for just a moment while I press this down. Okay, and I'm going to cross in front of you here. I'm going to go around to this side as well, so that I can press this strip down and make sure everybody's lining up the way I want them to. Okay, so there we are. Are these the best corners you ever saw? Probably not. I'm gonna go get my bone folder. I do have a little bit of latitude with this stuff while it dries, so you should see my bone folder going in here. I'm going to use this and really press that corner in and smooth across and come in here and press this corner in really good. So it's real hard to do with your hands. Okay, so there we go. There's that one. Like I said, I will put this one in at a later time. You're not going to be able to see any of that, so there's really no point. Okay, so now we have this piece that we can put in. Okay, so we're going to do that. I'm going to match it up to the bottom and to the roof. And I'm going to press it down. I'm not going to worry about that edge yet because I want this to be dry when I do it. Okay, So we got that in there, we got that pressed down. I'm going to grab our wall, I'm going to put it in place, and I'm going to double check that we don't have any gaps, and we don't. So yay. All right. So now we can do this one. This one I'm not going to worry about the edges because they're going to be covered up. Okay, so I'm going to put this piece in first, right here. Oh, okay. Actually, I'm going to go take a little tiny bit off of this left side real quick because it is overlapping the other piece just a bit. Okay, so I took the tiniest bit off, and that's fine because it'll help it align more with that window. Okay, so I'm going to get my glue on the back here. I'm going to put that one in too. There is really an order to this when you do this. Now, if I were going to wire this dollhouse, I would have done it before putting any wallpaper or anything up. I'm not planning on wiring it, so it's not a big deal. And you know, we're going to do the wallpaper. Some of the windows we can go ahead and put in. Some of the door stuff we can go ahead and put in. Once we do that, some of it has to wait. So, all right, let me get this in here. I'll be right in your way for just 1 second. All right, so I've made sure I am flush with this wall here. There's a little gap there. Again, let's bring our wall in. But we cut it in such a way that this wall is going to cover that gap. Okay, so you're not going to see it. We'll leave that there for a second. We will get the triangular piece. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. Let's see if I can turn the house around a bit so that you can see me do this wall as well. I just have to be very careful because it's going to make it teeter. So if I push too hard on it, we're going to have this a problem. All right. So now we know that this particular one here is going to go right up here. Okay, and touch that. So we can go ahead and put this one on. And it's coming right up to the edge of the door this way, which is kind of awesome. Oh, not quite. No, okay. Rats. So there. So now with this, there's just the tiniest sliver. I'm not going to worry about trying to get this sliver onto here like this. That's a bit much. So when I put this on here, I'm going to butt it up here, right? But then I'm going to go ahead and cut the door out. And I'm not going to worry about saving it on the side because we have something that's going to make that not a problem, is the door. Okay, so the door is going to sit over that, so you're not even going to see it, right? So, and then depending on how we want our door, whether we want it coming in or going out or whatever, is how we will hang it. It's going to open in it. Jesus. Okay, there we go. So we're probably going to have this where the door opens into, because generally you have doors open from a hallway or something into a room. So that's perfect. Okay. So now with this one, I'm going to go ahead and figure about how far it goes. I'm going to put the glue on the wall, only because it's got that big open area and I don't want to destroy my paper, because waste not, want not, but I don't need it to go all that way, you know, and get glue on the part that's going to be hanging out here. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that was a complete sentence to somebody somewhere. My extra glue off, my glue catcher. we are going to let this glue sit up here. And we're going to talk about what we're going to do next, because we want to do our chair rail, and we want to do our wainscoting, all the boards coming down, but we have a couple things we're going to have to do. So in order to put baseboards in, you have to have your doors in first. Always, always. Found that out the hard way. In the Mad Scientist Mansion, I didn't have doors at first. I wasn't sure if I was going to use them, and then I decided I wanted doors. So it was great to remove just enough of the baseboard to fit the door in, okay? Because the door is going to go in like so. So our baseboard, our board on this side, the railing and all that stuff is really going to be determined by that door, okay? So this is going to have to go in before we can put that stuff in. Same with the wall will have to go in before we can put this other stuff in. And then with baseboards, you have to put your flooring in before you put your baseboards in. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to cut the hole on this door here. I'm probably going to go ahead and put this window in here. We can grab that. Grab it a damn sight faster if we remember where we put it. Okay, so now this, when we put this in, we're going to be putting our window in as well. Okay, so our window will go here, and our window frame will go here on the outside of it. Making sure to center that up with it, okay? Actually, you know what? We're here. I can do Fabri-Tac on this. Let's go ahead and put our window in, because it's staying. Let's take advantage of that, because that is what we would put here next. And the Fabri-Tac will hold it just fine. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that it's lining up with the outside edge as well, so that this is straight. Okay, and we don't glue the window itself in, it's held in by the window frame, but this doesn't have a lip to it like the other ones do. This one is just straight flat. Okay, so there's that right there. So, problem solved with that window. Okay, so we're going to have to put this wall in here before we start doing any of the stair rail wainscoting business here, because we need to know where that's going to end, okay? The problem with putting that in here, flooring in here is going to be fine. It's just a straight shot across, okay? But in here, we do kind of need to be able to, I don't know if you can even see it from that angle. Let me move this back around a little bit. Okay, so now when we get in here, of course we want to put our wall in, but we need to put our flooring in here too. And you've got some weird angles of things. So now that this is dry, I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to go from this direction. I'm going to just start cutting in, and I'm going to let the wall sort of dictate where my knife goes. I am doing this very lightly. I'm not pressing inwards because I don't want to nick the paper that's behind it too. There's that one. I'm going to do the same with this door here. So I'm going to be, let's see, I'll go run this side here. Move this lamp because I'm going to fall over this damn lamp. Okay, so same thing here. I'm going to come with this straight up, and I'm using a sawing motion, and I'm just pressing it so that it is flush with the door frame. Okay, is it going to be completely perfect? Probably not. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to cut over. I'm going to go straight across. Sorry about the noise. Okay, so there we go. And then if I notice it was way off, I can clean it up, but it wasn't. It was good. And then this edge will be covered by the door frame, so I'm not worried about that. Okay, so as my ADD riddled brain may or may not have been saying before, it may be a good idea for us to do some of the flooring in here. Not necessarily the whole floor, but maybe this section here, because it's going to be kind of difficult to get to. We are going to want to put baseboards in here. That would be easier to do when we can reach in this way. Okay, then once we put the wall on, like so, then we'll have rectangle. It becomes much easier to floor that way, okay? Because again, we want the floors on first, then we can do the baseboards, because you want them to sit on top of your floor instead of trying to cut it into it. So it's a lot more difficult. Alrighty, so that is it for episode 6. So in our next episode coming up, we are going to be dealing with flooring. We're going to attach just the flooring in the tower section. We're not putting the flooring in the main section just yet. So we have to have our wall attached. So we're going to do that. We're going to attach our wall. Then we're going to put in some of the trim and like the crown molding and stuff that we can in the correct order of operations and whatnot. And I believe it's in this episode that I realized what I did to the door. Anyways, hope to see you in the next one. Bye.